Welcome to the Computer Club's May meeting. I'm Phil Sorrentino, the Computer Club Secretary. Tonight we're going to have a presentation on Google products by Rob Truman. So we'll get to our speaker in a minute, but first let me review a few things. Our monthly meetings are held on the second Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. We're just starting one now. Typically they're from 7 to 8. Last month we explored home automation. By the way, this is our last meeting until September 8th. Starting in September, we expect to be having in-person meetings at the community hall. We may also transmit the presentation on our YouTube channel so that members who are not located in Sun City Center can still participate in the meeting. So for those of you who are in Sun City, the lab is currently open from 12:30 to 4:30 every day except Sunday. Social distancing and masks are still required. As far as education goes, there are 5 classes scheduled for May, and for further details, check the journal. And finally, during the presentation, please submit your questions as you think of them using the chat feature. So now for tonight's presentation on the Google ecosystem by Rob Truman. Rob is on the board of directors of the Sun Lake Computer Club in Arizona. He's retired Navy and has over 40 years of experience in information technology and internet-related fields. Rob is a staunch proponent of lifelong training and runs a website/blog called Geezer Tech, which focuses on helping the senior community with their technology needs. Sounds like he'd fit in really well right here. So here's Rob to present Google from 30,000 feet, a review of some of Google's best products. Rob, it's all yours.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate this opportunity to speak with you. So we will, without further delay, first of all, a little bit of an agenda. I want to go over what is Google, then we will delve into Google search. Huge subject. We're going to try and focus a little bit on Gmail, maybe to try and give you a little bit of few tips, tricks, things that I have found useful over the years, and then Google Drive, and wrap it up with YouTube. And during this, we will kind of throw out some information about how much information does Google know about you. So first of all, what is it? The name Google is actually derived from the mathematical term Google, which is basically 1 with 100 zeros following it. The founders originally were going to name it Backrow. As part of Google's green initiative, they regularly rent goats, and that's how they mow their lawns. Google tried to sell the product to Excite, which was at one point another search engine, in 1999 for $1 million. But the Excite CEO rejected their offer, and Google now is worth more than $300 billion. That's really got a sting. Oh, and by the way, Excite's no longer in business. Google has over 221 different products and services. And a lot of these you will probably recognize, and a lot of them you would not. So how well does Google know you? It knows who you are through facial recognition, search, voice commands, and photo ads. It knows everywhere you've been because of Chrome, your browser, if you use Chrome, Google Maps, Google Search, Waze, and your calendar. Knows who your friends are because of your Gmail account, if you use it, Maps, Calendar, Waze, and Hangouts. It knows what you like or dislike by what news you read, where you shop, what you shop for, what you watch on YouTube, what you search for in your browser, and what books you read. Knows your future plans because of your, again, back to your browser, your calendar, your search, and your email. And it knows your online life just from your search, Gmail, and your browser. If you ever want to have some fun, just go up to Google and type in your own name up in the search bar and hit enter. Or your neighbor, or your wife, or whoever you want to search for. So let's get into search. This is a really big topic, and we're not going to be, I'm just flat out not going to be able to get into everything here, but I want to give you, I guess, maybe a different perspective on how you search for things and maybe make your searches a little bit more effective. So we will
Google can do much more than find a website. In fact, this search engine has numerous features that can simplify your online experience, and you may not know these easy-to-use tricks even existed till now. For instance, the phrase "near me" can provide all sorts of info. Just type something like "food near me," "coffee near me," or "gas near me," and Google will look for nearby examples. Even a phrase like "cool places near me" works, so don't hesitate to try new ideas. When you need help with math, enter a problem into the search bar, such as 42 divided by 11 or 19 multiplied by 8. You'll get the answer along with the calculator. If geometry is giving you trouble, type "solve" and a shape such as a triangle or rectangle. This will bring up the geometry calculator, from which you can solve for numerous aspects of a shape. You can convert many types of measurement, including distance, temperature, and more. For example, type 5 kilometers to miles or 30 kilograms to pounds to get an instant conversion. You can also use abbreviations to keep your typing to a minimum. For help with language and vocabulary, type "define," then any word to get a definition sourced from the Oxford Dictionary, along with any common synonyms. However, if you need a language translator, simply type "translate," or add a word or phrase to immediately translate it. If you want your local weather, type "weather," or add a place name to get the forecast for almost any place on Earth, from Phoenix to Mount Everest. To find the distance between two places, type a place name, then "to," and a destination, such as Raleigh to Asheville. If you want driving directions for that route, just click on the directions icon in the corner. Finally, you can track shipments by entering your tracking number, then clicking on your carrier to get all of the details. The hidden features of Google Search can do a lot, and it's likely that its functionality will continue to expand. Whether you want a local weather forecast or need to say something in Spanish, the answer will not be hard to find.
Google loves playing with Easter eggs. And of course, this has nothing to do with the actual Easter holiday. But Easter eggs are hidden programs within a program. You can go to search on Wikipedia and you can just type in "list of Google Easter eggs." And it will pull up a list of stuff. There's Keep in mind though, when you're searching, this is an old saying that my electronics instructor used to tell me. Garbage in, garbage out. The more specific you can be, the better the search results. So in this case, what is the answer to life and the universe and everything? And Google will return the answer of 42. Gmail. The email system we all love to hate. But actually, most people, I don't think, use Gmail to even a fraction of its capabilities. So, again, here we're just going to go over some tips, some tricks, things that may help you in the future. So what is it? It's a free email service provided by Google. If you haven't gone into the settings section of Gmail, then I highly recommend you do so. There is a variety of different settings that you can customize, some tools. Under most accounts, the list over here to the left on your screen is the different areas in settings. After using any email program for a while, our inboxes get kind of cluttered. They're just hard to manage. Gmail provides some settings and some functionality to help you manage that to the best of its ability. Gmail uses labels. So I wanted to just take a moment to let's talk a little bit about the difference between a label and a folder. Because when you're in Gmail and you'll see folders on the right-hand or left-hand column, those are actually labels. So anything that looks like a folder in Gmail is a label. One of the main advantages of labels is that I can assign a label to an email, or more than one label to an email. Whereas with folders, I can only put an email in one folder at a time. And you can share labels, making collaboration really easy. You can search for labels. You can use keywords when you do the search. So using labels will help you organize your inbox. And if you want to think of a certain way, a label is nothing more than a search term or a keyword that you've applied to a particular email. And the label's brother or sister is filters. And filters can save you a lot of time. Now, for those of you who are accustomed to using Outlook, you'll recognize a filter is nothing more than a rule. So this is just a set of rules that happens when you get certain emails into your inbox. You can create filters that look for a specific sender, recipient, based on subject, specific words. And then you can set up that filter to apply a certain label to those emails. The sidebar in Gmail is, to me, one of the most powerful tools that it has. is you can access calendars. You can create new events right in the Gmail interface. You don't have to go to Gmail Calendar or Google Calendar. You can create checklists, take notes, set up tasks and to-do lists. And you can actually unsend an email. Now you have to enable this setting in your settings, and you can enable it for up to a 30-second maximum. And what happens is that when you click send, and I'm sure I'll speak for myself. Yeah, I've hit click send and could just reach out and crush myself for doing it because I wasn't ready to send it. Well, with this, you can actually unsend it for up to 30 seconds. And what happens, you'll see a little box after you click send that will allow you to undo it. Now, behind the scenes, what's going on? Gmail is just delaying sending that email. It's giving you, hey, are you sure you really want me to do this type of time? You can also schedule email. So you can tell Gmail when to send the email. You can pick a time like tomorrow morning. You can set up a custom date and time. And right now you can schedule an email all the way out to 2068. So, if you're kind of lonely like I am, you don't have a whole lot of friends, and you just want to send yourself a birthday message, you can do it here. Google Drive. I do a lot of these, and one of the questions I get asked the most, it seems like, is what is the cloud? Bottom line is the cloud is a hard drive located somewhere else. And that's really all it is. It refers to software services that run on the internet instead of locally on your computer. Allows you to access your information on any device with an internet connection. And there's considerable cost savings here. And the other common question is always about security. It's good, but anything that's man-made is not foolproof. Okay, so there's always a certain amount of inherent risk that goes along with everything. But one of the advantages of cloud storage is its redundancy, and it's what's called distributive. Your data is saved on a multitude of different servers, and it's called distributive computing. So it's all your information is just not on that server in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's spread out throughout the world on other Google servers. So the chances of you losing that information, probably pretty outside chance. It's a free service. Allows you to store files online. You can access them any place using the cloud. It also comes with certain applications, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, which are 100% compatible with Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Now, they don't have all the bells and whistles that come with those applications, but they are totally functional. They also give you access to these applications, and you get 15 gigabytes of storage, which is now shared between Gmail, Google Drive, and Photos. One, you get 15 gigs for free, so why not use it? File sharing, I'm not a big social media person. And every time I get into a conversation with people about, well, why do you use Facebook? What's the advantage here? I mean, what is it that you see that's so attractive? And one of the common answers I get is, well, it's easy to share photos with my family. You can do the same thing with Google Drive or any other cloud service, and it becomes very easy. And probably not, in that way, you don't have to give Facebook all your information. You just give it to Google. This is an example, screenshot of what Google Drive's interface looks like. There's also a desktop app which allows you to sync information on your computer up to Google Drive. It's available for Windows and Mac. And it just makes it a bit easier to upload files. And of course, after you've been using it a while, you may need to get things organized, and you will notice that this looks just like your file manager in Windows or similar to the one used on, Mac OS. Uses a folders file structure. Too fast. And they make it really easy to share. Last area, YouTube. My favorite news source. Actually, YouTube is just, there is no replacement for YouTube. There's a lot of companies out there trying, but to me, it is the #1 video sharing application out there. It is a free video sharing website. It was created in 2005. It's probably one of the most popular websites on the internet. And it's estimated that there's people that are streaming video, 6 billion hours of video every month, which to me is just hard to wrap my head around. One of the reasons I like it so much, because I use it as a research tool. My last car, I wanted to change the air filter for the cabin inside, so the inside air filter. Well, I looked through the owner's manual in the car, could not find where this air filter was, and went up on YouTube, did a search, put in the make, model of my car. It showed me not only where it was located, how to change it, and it just so happened that this air filter I had to remove the glove compartment to get to it. We'll never buy that model of car again. YouTube was first developed by and used what's called Longtail's JW player, and it was purchased for $1.65 billion by Google. And probably from the advertising aspect alone, Google has definitely got their money's worth out of this. Resources and links. If I have a list of Google resources, which has a lot of different videos, feel free to contact me. My email address is there on the screen. This is my website, geezertech.us or us. And it is nothing more than a website full of tech articles, which I update on a weekly basis. If you would like to get emailed with those articles as I put them up there, you can join my email list. If not, you're welcome to go there and read to your heart's content. There's everything up there from articles on Google, security, cord cutting, you name it. And there's articles up there both for Windows and Mac, and hopefully you'll find something that you're looking for. All right, we are ready for Q&A.
Okay. Has anybody got any questions out there? I'm not seeing anything.
Well, I sent one question in before, but I know you didn't cover photos, but there was going to be a change. Up till now, Google Photos has been unlimited photo storage, and I think that's changing.
Yeah, I believe you're right, and I don't have 100% of the details on that. You can put all your photos in Google Photos, but it's still, and if you just upload them and allow Google to save them in whatever compression that they want to use on them, then I still think I believe you can still get some free storage, but they are basically now part of that 15 gigabytes. So, I personally use Microsoft's OneDrive only because I get a terabyte with my 365 subscription. So I don't use I still use Google Drive, but not to the extent that I use, Microsoft's.
Would you know of any differences between the two? I would suspect.
I think they're all pretty much the same. I mean, when you really get right down to it, I mean, now I know one thing that I've noticed on OneDrive is that, and this is something they've rolled out recently, is they have a security folder, and I can't remember the terminology they use for it, but it's for putting secure documents in, and it's automatically reversed to two-factor authentication after a time limit. Okay, so you open the folder, you get what you want. If you forget to close the folder and lock it back down, it will lock back down automatically after a certain number of minutes go by, which I think is kind of neat.
And Android is certainly the Google operating system for phones.
Yes.
And it's pretty amazing that all of their products will run on their phones and tablets.
Oh, yeah, it's, I mean, I know there's that age-old argument between Android and Apple. I think a lot of us it's got to be a personal taste issue any more than anything else. I prefer Android, but that's what I'm comfortable with. Mm-hmm. I've owned both over the years.
One of the things that Google did develop was a video chat app that allows you essentially to have an Android and an iPhone, the Apple phone, being able to communicate. Before that, the Apple people could only communicate with FaceTime among Apple.
Right.
And that app is Duo.
Right. Yeah, that's out there, and now, of course, I haven't heard where that's going since they've rolled out Google Meet, which is kind of a Zoom alternative. But I know from what I hear, they're slowly getting rid of Google Hangouts, which Google Meet kind of, has taken over that eco area. But everybody's trying to, match Zoom right now. So,
You're the leader.
Well, that's what happens when you're in first place. You get a target on your back.
You mentioned calendar a couple of times, and
Right.
there's some really nice features of the calendar.
There is. It's like I say, with 221 different applications, I don't want to say it's a huge learning curve, but each one of these, I think the primary applications that most people are interested in using, it's kind of like Microsoft Office. If all you do is use Word as a word processor, it just has so many other functions, built into it, and it just takes some time to learn it. But and again, take you back to YouTube. If, there's a lot of tutorials on YouTube just on using Gmail or any of the Google products.
Hey, Rob.
Yes.
Rob, I got a question. Somebody asked, how do I delete a 20-year-old email?
I'm not sure you can delete it. My advice is just quit using it. And eventually it will go dissolve into the ether.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's more work involved in trying to delete that from, Google's servers than is probably worth the time spent. Now, I know that after so many months or years, then Google just, purges stuff that hasn't been used, just to do some housekeeping.
Bob, did you ask about deleting an email or deleting an account?
I think she put down deleting emails, but I think it was deleting a 20-year-old account.
Yeah, that's always a good point, because it seems like it's almost impossible to delete an account. I've never come across a method.
Rob, have you got any thoughts on that one? Deleting an old account?
Well, just like I say, I think you just need to eventually, if you don't use it, so if you're not, but the minute it's kind of like Facebook, the minute you log in, then that account is still active. Okay, so, but basically you just need to stop using it, or stop using any products related to that account. So you need to be sure you're not logged in to any of the other Google services using those credentials. And eventually it'll go away. It'll just, it'll disappear.
Another question for you. Recently,
Yeah.
I went into my folders in Gmail only to find that information has disappeared. How can I retrieve them?
Okay, this may not be helpful, but I will throw this out there. When all else fails, you want to go to the folder called All Mail. Okay. Gmail, I'm going to try and explain this in as simplest terms as I can. Gmail, all your email is in one large bucket. Then all these little labels that you're creating and folders, those are actual search terms. And so when you click on a label or a folder, whichever terminology you prefer, Gmail is actually running a search and returning the emails with that particular category or label. But the folder labeled All mail, that's everything. Now, if it's not there, then it's gone. So,
And how would she find that folder called All Mail?
it should be over on the left-hand side, and it's going to be over on that left-hand column, and it will just literally say All Mail.
By default, isn't that a hidden folder?
I don't think so.
Oh,
It may. I'm not sure anything's hidden in Gmail by default.
okay.
I mean, you'd have to check. If it is hidden, then you would need to go into settings. The thing is, I've had mine set up for so long, I can't remember whether.
I'm just
There's-
looking at it now, and it doesn't show up immediately, but if you click more, then it
Right.
does show up. And on mine, it's right above the spam folder. It
Yeah,
says
it
all
should be.
saved mail.
Yeah, it should be right there near your spam folder.
Mhm.
And I will say this about Google spam filters. They're amazing. Now, it does, when you're dealing with spam, you do need to take some time and tell your Gmail what you consider spam. But the more information you provide it, then the better of a job it will do in detecting spam and putting those emails where you would like to have them, which is pretty much in your spam folder. Believe me, I get tons of emails on a daily basis. But I get and over time, I've kind of trained it, and I get very few in my inbox. Most of them are going straight into my spam folder. And then I'm just anal enough that I want to go out and clean that out every day or so.
Rob, we have a
Yes.
clarification on the 20-year-old Gmail account.
Okay.
She says that her account has 56,000 emails in it. Is it possible to delete the oldest? So I'm thinking a search by. Can we sort by oldest to newest?
Yes. You can do that, and you can also run a search based on date. Okay. I used to know what the search terms were at one point in my life. But I guarantee if you go into YouTube and search Gmail for old email, you will find some good stuff on how to do that. So you can go in there and you can search. Essentially, looking for all emails before 2015, and it will show you all the emails that you received prior to 2015, and then you can go through and delete those and purge your system. But what I've kind of trained myself to do is to think of my Gmail interface as just an extension of Google search. Because it is a search engine. But it's just isolated to the emails that I have received.
Hey, Rob, a little different subject. Could you
Sure.
say something about the difference between YouTube and YouTube TV?
Oh, sure. Yeah. YouTube TV is a cable replacement service by YouTube. Okay. YouTube is the traditional Google video sharing. So YouTube not YouTube TV. Because if you're talking about YouTube TV, that's going to give you all kinds of cable channels. You'll have to subscribe to that. Last time I saw it, I think the subscription price was in the neighborhood of $65 a month, but it's strictly for cable TV. YouTube, you can go up there and search for anything. I personally subscribe to YouTube Premium, which gives me YouTube Music. So I use that for my music service, and as part of that deal, I don't have to watch commercials on YouTube. So I don't have to see the ads. So, but you can go up to just youtube.com, not YouTube TV, and search for anything you would like. And if you want to know how to change your hot water heater, okay, or where's the pilot light on it, whatever, there's just a wealth of information up there. Now, I won't testify to the validity of all that information. That is, kind of falls under the buyer beware category. But you will find a bunch, just to, depending on the subject you're looking for. And there's just a lot of good videos up there. I'm personally I like documentaries, and there's tons of stuff up there.
Oh, have we got any other questions out there? I don't see anything.
Well, again, you guys, you got my email address. If there's anything that comes in later, by all means, forward it over to me, and I'd be happy to reply to it.
Okay. Rob, could you bring back that last slide that had your email and the question, the Google...
Yeah, let me...
There you go. Oh. There you go. That should... good information there that anybody if they need it, they can get in touch with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, Bob, you don't see any more?
Nope, I don't see any more questions.
Okay, Rob, well, thanks for a very interesting, informative, and entertaining presentation on the Google ecosystem. And everybody out there, don't forget our next meeting will be on September 8th. We'll let you know what the subject will be in the future. So good night and stay safe. And thanks again, Rob.
You bet.
All right, good night, everybody.